Hi Freunde! Today I'm taking you to test the Nikon ZR in extreme conditions. This video is not about sharing specs, but instead rather showing how this camera helped me on my last shoot. First, let's check out the result. So how reliable is the autofocus? In this project, I had several large gimbal movements to reveal this cool abandoned location. Before, when using RED cameras without reliable autofocus, I had to carry very heavy gear and lots of accessories. But because this camera has autofocus, all of that extra equipment can be reduced. To have such a small form factor for the camera and able to shoot RAW is so cool, so I can also put it on smaller gimbals like this to be able to be compact, fast and efficient. To get the best autofocus performance, make sure you're in AFF mode. Then I assign a custom button so I can adjust the focus area depending on the environment. Overall, you can see the autofocus performance is solid. A good camera alone doesn't automatically give you a cinematic look. For example, in this shot I added many props that I have prepped and bought beforehand. This adds a lot of detail. In another shot I wanted it tighter to focus more on the subject. The 6K resolution gives me enough room to punch in. This location was very complex, lots of changing lights, and we were shooting run and gun style. For example, in one shot I didn't set the white balance correctly. But luckily this camera records RED RAW, so I can adjust white balance and ISO in post without any extra image quality loss. Of course, this camera can shoot many other formats too, like simpler formats such as H.265. Since a lot of my recent filming has been outdoor, I really prefer to have an EVF. When I saw that this camera doesn't have one, I was very worried. Alright, up next I'm going to do a classic low-angle horror style shot. For that it's good to have this flip-out screen that can go into all directions. It's really convenient, and on top of that it's pretty bright and big. So with this one I need to do like a manual focus on the foreground, it needs to be precise, and this bigger screen helps me a lot. And outdoors, the screen brightness is also good enough to see clearly. When your screen is bigger, your framing naturally becomes stricter and more precise. There are several shots in this film that require visual effects. I need to very accurately separate the actor from parts of the background that needs processing. If you use an external monitor, however, I recommend a cage with cable clamps just to protect the ports. In cinematography, we usually try to avoid eye-level shots, which means lowering or raising the camera position to get a unique angle. Traditionally, this requires bulky gear like cranes that lift up and tilt down, but here I use a very simple trick, a light stand plus a gimbal. This only worked out because the camera body is so lightweight, allowing me to execute this creative shot quickly. In post, I realized this sheep wasn't actually as cool as I imagined, so I removed it with visual effects and added a wasp nest instead. Friends who have joined my shoots most know that I shoot very fast. I always make sure to prep the camera beforehand, especially with a new camera. So these are the following settings that I've changed. These three custom buttons on top of the Nikon ZR are assigned on my side to white balance, focus area, and ISO. Sometimes I don't have the time to use it on a gimbal and have to shoot handheld to quickly capture a moment. I hesitated at first, but the camera has built-in VR stabilization, and the final results turn out pretty good. Unfortunately, nowadays a lot of projects have very limited budget, so to have a safety net with sound recording is also very important. Here, with 32-bit float, we have plenty of dynamic range. We can pull levels down so nothing clips. I can be very quiet, but then also if I'm very loud, it won't peak. I can be very quiet, but then also if I'm very loud, it won't peak. To get the best exposure on this Nikon ZR, I recommend to turn on the waveform feature and solely rely on that. There are 3 lines, and the most important thing is to keep your exposure slightly above the middle line. From my test, this has given me the best and most accurate exposure. During the day, I used a variable ND, but indoors or at night, you need to add extra lighting. Here you can see I set up 2 lights, one on camera right as a key light, another one on camera left bouncing off the ceiling to lift the overall exposure. Finally, I gave the actor a practical light to guide and hold the viewer's attention. This camera has 2 base ISOs, 800 and 6400. Most of the time I recommend staying at ISO 800 and only switching to 6400 if absolutely necessary. Battery life honestly surprised me. I don't have the exact numbers, but for a full day of shoot, I only used 2 batteries, which is pretty cool. The ZR is also very compact, so switching quickly between gimbal, slider and tripod is easy. One thing I do need to mention though, the card slot placement is a bit awkward. It's shared with the battery compartment, so you have to take the camera off the gimbal to change cards. There aren't any slow motion shots in this project, but just to be safe, I tested it for you. One thing to note, when shooting at 120 frames per second, there will be a crop. Matching with other RED cameras is obviously very important, especially with the RED logo on this body. So how well do these clips cut together? Is the look consistent? Is it close enough? I'll just show you the results directly. Hopefully this video was informative and can help you on your next upcoming shoot. Other than that, bis zum nächsten Mal.